What does freedom cost, and what are you willing to sacrifice to claim it? In the annals of history, some stories of courage are shouted from the rooftops, while others are whispered, nearly lost to time. This is the story of one such whisper that became a roar for liberty, that echoed across the Caribbean, inspired by revolutions an ocean away, and was met with the brutal fist of an empire. This is not just history, it's a lesson in leadership, sacrifice, and the unbreakable human spirit. Welcome to the narration of Tula, the Revolt. Our story begins in 1795 on the sun-scorched island of Curaçao, a Dutch colony built on the backs of enslaved Africans. The world is in turmoil. The American Revolution has been won. In France, the revolutionaries have guillotined their king, declaring the rights of liberty, equality, and fraternity. And in Haiti, enslaved people are rising up in a bloody fight for their own freedom. Word of these revolutions reaches the plantations. It sparks a flame in the mind of a man named Tula. He is not just a slave. He is a natural leader, intelligent and charismatic. He gathers his companions, including a man named Bastien, and poses a dangerous question. If all men are born free, why are we in chains? He argues that with the Dutch government itself overthrown by the French, the laws that enslaved them are now void. Their freedom isn't a request. It's their natural right. The first major twist isn't in action, but an idea. Tula insists their revolt must be peaceful. They will not resort to the brutality of their masters. They will march, gather strength in numbers, and present their case for freedom to the governor himself. This philosophical stance sets them apart from any typical rebellion and raises the stakes. Can morality triumph in a fundamentally immoral system? On August 17, 1795, Tula gives a powerful speech at the Nip plantation, declaring their freedom. The revolt begins. As they march, something incredible happens. Doors swing open, chains are shattered. From every plantation, the enslaved join the cause. Their ranks swell from dozens to hundreds, and then to over 2,000 people. It is a wave of humanity, hungry for dignity. They are organized. Tula appoints lieutenants. They secure weapons, not for attack, but for defense. They even capture a Dutch militia commander, Baron van Westerholt, and instead of executing him, Tula debates him. He speaks of rights, of justice, quoting the very European ideals the Baron claims to represent. It's a stunning scene. The enslaved man using the master's philosophy to defeat him. Here lies the second compelling twist. Their initial success is overwhelming. The colonial militia is caught completely off guard and outmaneuvered. For a few glorious days, hope is not just a dream. It is a reality being forged on the roads of Curaçao. They send a message to Governor Johannes de Veer, demanding their freedom. The audience is led to believe that perhaps, just perhaps, reason might prevail. But the third and most devastating twist is the response. The governor and the colonial council don't see philosophers. They see property that is out of control. They see an economic threat that must be exterminated to protect their wealth. The idea of negotiation is unthinkable to them. The full force of the Dutch military machine is unleashed. Well-armed, trained soldiers and mercenaries descend upon the rebels. Tula's men, brave but poorly equipped, fight valiantly but are ultimately outgunned. The film doesn't shy away from the horrific violence of this suppression. The rebellion is shattered. Tula's peaceful ideal is crushed under the boot of overwhelming, brutal force. The leaders are captured, and now comes the true horror, the punishment. The Dutch authorities decide to make an example of them to ensure no one ever dares to hope again. Tula, Bastien, and the other leaders are subjected to medieval-style public torture. They are broken on the wheel, dismembered, and beheaded. Their suffering is prolonged and grotesque. This is the final, grim lesson of the film. Systems of power will use extreme violence to maintain control. Tula's defeat is not just a military loss. It is a deliberate act of psychological terror aimed at an entire population. So, was it all for nothing? This is the final, and perhaps most important, twist. In the short term, yes, the revolt was crushed. Slavery continued on Curaçao for decades more. But history has a long memory. Tula's story did not die on that execution block on October 3, 1795. It was kept alive in the oral traditions of the people. The ultimate twist is that the victors did not get to write the ending. Today, Tula is recognized as a national hero in Curaçao. August 17th is a day of remembrance. His statue stands proudly. He is their Spartacus, their Toussaint Louverture, the man the Dutch tried to erase became an immortal symbol of the fight for human rights. His story teaches us that the cost of freedom is often extreme sacrifice. It teaches us about moral leadership standing for your principles even in the face of certain doom, and it reminds us that no matter how powerful a system seems, this ending isn't just a history lesson, it's a mirror held up to us, the audience. Here's what we can learn from it. 1. The cost of freedom. True freedom is rarely given. It is almost always taken, and it often demands the highest price. Tula's story is a solemn reminder of the immense sacrifice that precedes the liberties we often take for granted today. 2. The power of an idea. You can kill a person, but you cannot kill an idea whose time has come. Tula was inspired by the ideas of the French Revolution. In turn, his idea of peaceful resistance and inherent freedom outlived his captors and became a foundational story of national identity. 3. Moral leadership versus brutal power. Tula fought for a principle. The Dutch fought to protect an economic system. The film forces us to ask, who was truly the civilized one? The man arguing for natural rights, or the regime that used grotesque torture to protect its profit? This clash between morality and power is still incredibly relevant today. 4. Who controls history? This story was almost erased. The ending teaches us that history is not just about dates and battles. It's about whose stories are told. By rediscovering and celebrating figures like Tula, we are actively reclaiming history from the hands of the powerful and giving it back to the people. And here's the powerful postscript that the movie alludes to. What happened after the credits rolled? In real history, Tula's story was suppressed for generations, but the people of Curaçao never forgot. In 1995, on the 200th anniversary of the Revolt, a statue was unveiled in his honor. In 2010, the Dutch government officially apologized for its role in slavery. Tula is now a national hero in Curaçao. August 17th, the day the revolt began, is a day of remembrance. The man the Dutch tried to erase is now immortalized in bronze and in the heart of a nation. So, the real ending of Tula's story is one of redemption and recognition. It proves that justice, though often delayed, has a long memory.